Smoking Dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in the tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red carpet like the famous homie. Ask your bitch, really famous homie, and you know it's in me. It ain't on me. So creative like I made Adobe. I've been balling like I played with Kobe.
What's the deal? What's the deal? We back again another Wednesday night. PolitiKan the podcast. We got a slew of topics to get to once again. It's just me and Amrock tonight. We rocking. Hopefully the other brothers will join in. But if not, you know what I'm saying, we just going to get to it. So the first topic we got is Kevin Durant. He went down with an injury. So Kevin Durant is now out for a month with a knee injury. What does that do for the Nets' chances? They just went with, 18 out of the last 20, surging in the Eastern Conference. You know, they look like everything start gelling after Kyrie's suspension. But here we go with a Kevin Durant injury. We got Steph Curry. He made his return in a loss last night. But he is back for the Warriors. The Warriors are defending champs. Are they still contenders, and are they still the team to beat in the West? Lamar Jackson, we all know that he should have got that contract. He turned it down. He played on the expiring contract, and he got injured. Now Baltimore is playing Cincinnati in the wild card, and let's see if Lamar Jackson returns for that game. So Jay Prince Jr., he is receiving all type of hate and all type of just all type of negative energy coming on social media after Takeoff's death in Houston. They all blame Mob Ties. They said that they checked in with the Mob Ties crew and record label and that they were there with them, and that, you know, basically that Takeoff died under Jay Prince's watch. So social media is not having it, and everything that he posts, they're coming at him hard. So his father is out there trying to clear his name. He's on the podcast tour. He's on the media tour trying to clear up his son's name. And lastly, Joe Biden. So they have found classified documents from his vice presidency. This is the second time in about 2-3 days that they found classified documents. So we all know that they raided Mar-a-Lago, Trump's estate, and found classified documents from him. But now come to find out that we got classified documents from Biden when he was his vice presidency. So we're going to talk about the difference between them both having classified documents and how the media is trying to spin the same offense. And this is basically how they do the justice system. When we get it, we get it like they do Trump. But when, you know, Brandon does it, he gets the Biden treatment. So we're going to get to that. So first things first, man, Kevin Durant, he got injured. They were playing the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler fell on Kevin Durant's knee, and now he is slated to miss, I would say, at least a month. And this is crazy. The Nets just start gelling. They got it all together. They had just taking off as a team, and they were really looking like a true contender this year after all the drama. And now, once again, Kevin Durant's down, and the team has to find another way to win. They already went through a new head coach and Kyrie suspension with all that drama, and Kevin Durant axed out this summer, and he wanted a trade. And now, after, overcoming all of that, this is what they got, man. So how do you feel about the Nets' chances of winning, and what does this do for the future of the Nets, for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so he's only expected to be out a month. They definitely have been rolling 9-1 in their last 10. But look, you got Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons on your squad. All right, you should be able to at least maintain 500. All right. I'm not sure exactly how many games they're playing over this next month. But if it's, let's say, 16 games, you should at least go 8-8. All right. That'll put you at 35-22. So you should still be in the race, at least the top 3 or 4 seed by that time. I mean, right now it's Boston at 30 wins, Brooklyn Nets at 27, Milwaukee Bucks at 27, Philly 25, Cleveland 26, and then the Knicks at 23. So right now, I mean, Brooklyn's holding court. Again, you got a superstar in Kyrie Irving who has been playing well himself. I know Kevin Durant's also been playing on an MVP level, with Kyrie Irving has been playing just as well. Obviously you're going to miss 30 points a night, right? I mean, that's Kevin Durant in his sleep. You're going to miss that, of course. But you should be able to hold court, especially in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is a little bit better this year, but ultimately, you should be able to hold court. But I think they have Boston twice and Philly twice during this stretch. So we'll see. But again, it's only a month. So we're talking maybe to the All-Star break, and then you have at least 30 more games after that, where you should probably go maybe 20-10 or something like that when Kevin Durant comes back. So they should still be in pretty good shape. Will they go all the way? I mean, they still got to see Boston and Milwaukee, of course, in order to possibly get to the finals. So we'll see. But I mean, for him to rest a little bit during the stretch, it might do him some good, and the team some good, because then you get other guys gelling as well. So when he comes back, he just fits right in and they take off. So they should be fine. They should be fine.
Murdoch, pop that Eastern Conference standings up. Let's check out the standings. Okay, so we got the Celtics at the top. We got the Nets. We got the Bucks. So after this month, I project that they'll still be at least the third or fourth seed, given that the way that they're playing. So, like you said, it shouldn't really affect them that much. At the end of the day, they're still going to end the season as a top four, team in the Eastern Conference. But as far as winning it all, I don't know. We never really got a chance to see all these pieces gel together. And every time that we get a little glimpse of it, something happens,
Right.
to tear it all down. We just got Steph Curry back. They just got Joe Smith back. So it was just like, Claxton, is getting his minutes now. It was really like they started to gel, and then all of that went to crumbles, one play. And that's why you always one play away in sports from, being out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's Kevin Durant again, like just wrong place at the wrong time. And here we are with another injury, man. It was his other knee at the beginning of this month, the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
And now it's his other knee.
Yeah, he gets hurt like this often too, with somebody falling down. I mean, because he's so damn, tall. I mean, he's 7 foot. So, I mean, if somebody falls down on him, if they're basically falling down on his knee and his leg and his lower leg. So, he's always prone to this type of injury. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they should definitely hold court. I mean, yeah, you're gonna miss 30 points a night, but they should be fine in the Eastern Conference to at least remain in that top 4 or 5 seed by the time he gets back. They shouldn't fall completely off the band. Now, if they do that, then something's wrong, something's up. If they fall completely off and end up in the play-in, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll at least still be a 4 or 5 seed by the time he get back.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It just seemed like ever since Kevin Durant left Golden State, he can't play a full season. He can't get, he got injured. He tore that Achilles. And then, he left. He sat out the first year in Brooklyn. And ever since then, he's been injured every season for a substantial amount of time. So, no matter, he's one of the greatest, but he'll never be in the MVP conversation as long as he doesn't play enough games. So he'll be the greatest scorer ever, but how many MVPs will he have? And that's going to equate to his career. Well, we got to get to the MVP of last year's final, man. Steph Curry, the reigning champions, gained their point guard back. But now they're what? Bring up that Western Conference. Let's see where the Warriors currently stand.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the Warriors are 8th seed. So they are in the play-in right now at the 8th seed with Steph Curry's return. So he missed 11 games with a shoulder injury, and now he is back. But the Warriors have not been gelling. Wiseman has not panned out, and these role players are not, playing their role. Jordan Poole still has his splashes, but Draymond, he's pretty much non-existent at this point. What's going on with the Warriors, and are they still like the team to beat in the West? What's your thoughts?
What's going on with the Warriors is they are known for their explosive offense, but people underestimate and don't realize how good they are defensively, or how good they've been defensively, especially with Draymond Green heading that monster. But this year, opponents are averaging 117.7 points a game against the Golden State Warriors. That is pretty high, considering that at least in the top six, only one other team has opponents averaging that much against them, and that's the Sacramento Kings right now. Okay, so and the Sacramento Kings just got one more win, but teams are scoring on Golden State right now. Golden State's just simply not playing defense. Of course, Steph Curry being out, Klay Thompson, I think he was kind of dinged up, but he just still doesn't look like himself all the way. And Draymond Green is just gonna, be that facilitator, be that leader, be that defensive guy. He's never going to be, the 30-point scorer to fill in for Steph. Yes, the younger guys need to step up, but this is still Curry, Klay, and Draymond's team, and they have to galvanize these troops defensively. Again, they're getting scored on at a huge clip right now. They've lost 3 in a row. It doesn't look good, but again, this is Golden State. I mean, if they're healthy and they're still in the play-in, they can get it rolling. I mean, again, we have to give them at least that. They are, especially those 3 guys, they are champions multiple times, including last year's championship. So you have to respect this team if they are healthy. But right now, it's about their defense. Like I said, teams are scoring on them. They need to clamp down on that defense more than anything right now.
Me personally, I think that is Draymond Green. Draymond Green, punching Jordan Poole, ruining the chemistry. Then you got the league looking at you sideways because you're doing this podcast and you're going at the media, talking about you're the new media and this and that, and you're stirring the pot over there. And then, on the court, you're not performing because you're not locking anything down defensively. And offensively, you're basically non-existent. You're a liability. As far as you like running point forward, the offense isn't running through you. You're not running like that point forward position. So you're not like distributing. So right now, Draymond Green is out of place. And I really thought that they're paying for deciding to keep him on the team this year after punching Jordan Poole. His contract is up after this year. You're not going to re-up. He's looking to get paid and looking for that max money. So why didn't you get up off him in that moment when you had the chance? But you decided to stick with him, and now your team chemistry is all off. You're going through these injuries. Klay isn't who he used to be, and this is what you're going through.
Yep. Yeah, and he's averaging 7.7 points per game this season. That's certainly not helping. And he's also averaging only 6.9, basically 7 rebounds per game. He's leading the team in assists with 6.7 right now. But yeah, I mean, and in blocks, he's leading with basically 1 block per game, but he's also 3rd highest on the team in turnovers. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Draymond Green isn't helping the situation, but nobody, again, has this really looked to Draymond Green to score. That's primarily Klay Thompson, who's leading the team right now, other than, when Steph comes back, then he's, of course, leading the team. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, everything that happened with Jordan Poole definitely kind of messed up the chemistry, and you can see that as well. Again, defensively, right? Defensively, to play defense, you have to play as one. Everybody has to come together. It's basically like, almost like a war strategy, right? Everybody's lined up together in sequence and attacking accordingly. and attacking together, and talking together and communicating together. And you can clearly see that is a little bit rattled, and that communication isn't there. So they better get that together. Again, defensively, they got to get that together. There's a lot of teams in the West that score a lot of points, and they're not going to be able to hold court if they're not playing. I mean, Denver is at 116 right now. Memphis is scoring 116. New Orleans 117. The Sacramento Kings are leading in points per game in the league, tied with Boston right now at 118 points per game. So, that's going to be difficult if they're not playing defense. But again, you're absolutely right. The chemistry matters, and you can see that per the defensive numbers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So in the NFL, man, NFL had to get back to business as usual after the whole incident with the cardiac arrest on the field. And now it is wild card weekend. We got Lamar Jackson. He is injured. He has missed the last 5 games for Baltimore. And now it is wild card weekend. They are playing the Cincinnati Bengals. So the question is, should Lamar return for this game, or should he sit out given his contract situation? And have we seen the last of Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Because if he does not play this game, win, lose, or draw, it should be basically over for him in Baltimore. So do you think that he should play this game, or have we seen the last of him in Baltimore?
Well, personally, I think if he plays this, whether he plays this game or not, they will still lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. I just think the Cincinnati Bengals right now, they just have a better team. Now, does Lamar Jackson make a difference on the field? Absolutely. Absolutely he does for the Ravens. But the Bengals, again, they're just a better team, especially offensively. They just have too many weapons. Baltimore's secondary has been suspect pretty much all year. So whether he plays or not, I don't expect them to win the game. Now, should he play? Well, he shouldn't have stepped on the field, at the beginning of the season, but he chose to do that. He chose to play the majority of the season. So for him to, if he is healthy, to not play now is kind of like, you could have made that decision back in August, really, to have avoided now possibly being injured. And now teams, even if you decide not to stay here in Baltimore, other teams are looking at you and saying, okay, are you injury prone? What's that injury looking like? Is it worth paying you over $300 million, which is pretty much close to what you're asking for, anywhere from $250 to $300 million, all guaranteed money? That's tough for teams to evaluate. Now, does he deserve it? Hell yeah, he does. But we all know how they do, especially with black quarterbacks in the league. Especially a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who flies around the field. He's pretty much almost like a running back in a sense. So there's a lot more. He's prone to more injuries, and he has gotten injured. He has a history of it. This isn't the first year. He was injured and missed about 5 or 6 games last year as well. So other teams are factoring that in. And if he decides not to play, they're going to factor that even more. So, but again, how I look at it is, you've been playing all year. You might as well go ahead if you're healthy, just finish it out. At least try to help your team when you made the commitment to the Ravens all year. Just finish out the commitment at this point. But he shouldn't have honestly stepped on the field to begin with and not had his contract. And then right now you could kind of feel a little bit better knowing that, you got your money and, hey, I'm injured, but, I feel better. I feel, better about the Ravens and staying here. And maybe that would incentivize him even more to want to get out there and play. But the fact that, you don't have that contract, again, like I said, I don't think he should have stepped on the field anyway, but finish it out. You've played the majority of the season. I say finish it out at this point. If he can, if he's healthy and he could do it, why not?
I think that at this point he has to play it out. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
in business it's a game of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you sit out, you lose your leverage with Baltimore, but you also lose your leverage in negotiation room with the rest of these teams. But if you go out there and you lose to Cincinnati, but you play your heart out, hey, I gave it my all, and that was it. And you
Right.
go out there and you somehow find a way to beat Cincinnati. Oh man, in his first game back, he came back and as an underdog and got through a tough Cincinnati team. So the narrative, the chances of you coming back and getting injured again this game, the probability of that is very low. So why wouldn't you come back, win, lose, or draw, get that leverage back, and go into the offseason like, look, you see what I did. If you lose, at least you came back and you played and you toughed it out for your team. If you
Right.
find a way to win, you only, make your case stronger that you deserve that money. So you got to come back and play this game at this point. I feel like it's his best bet, and I hope that his advisors is advising him to play. You know, but it's Wednesday. I don't think that he practiced today. So
Mm.
I mean, the game is what is the game Saturday? Or is the game Sunday?
Sunday night. Game is Sunday
Okay.
night.
Okay, so he still got time because it's the game was Saturday. I'm like, and he ain't
Right.
practicing. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know. So we'll see how this all plays out, man. But this is why having good people in your corner like really matter, and it's like key,
Mm-hmm.
because this decision is gonna affect the rest of his life, and this is hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. So this is not only gonna affect him, but this is gonna affect 3 generations off of this decision. And this is why it's key that you have the right people, on your side and on your team. Because if you don't, man, these situations is very hard to navigate, man. You might get that wrong advice that'll steer you down the wrong road, and you hold out and you don't play, and they go win without you or some crazy shit. And then they really, don't feel like they need you. If they go win without you in Cincinnati, then you really lost your leverage, man. So
Yeah.
you gotta think of the other side of the coin. And I think a lot of times we get so focused on us, we don't look at the bigger picture. So hope Lamar go out there and play.
Yeah. If they if they somehow go in Cincinnati and pull this game out without him, yeah, all of his leverage is out the window, especially beating Cincinnati. I mean, that's the Ravens' rival, other than the Steel. I mean, the whole AFC North. They're all rivals against one another. So this is a huge game. And yeah, if the Ravens could somehow pull this out, that would be huge without Lamar Jackson. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like I said, yeah, he should definitely. He's played already. Why not just finish it out, man? Why not just finish out your commitment to the season? You started it, finish it out if you can. If you're healthy enough, finish it out if you can. But yeah, they offered him pretty much what he asked for, just not all of it guaranteed. In this day and age, I get it. You want to fight what you feel is right, but if they pretty much offered you what you were looking for, and 50 million or 75 million of it wasn't guaranteed, come on, man, come on. And he also has to evaluate his history of being injured as well. Like you're playing a dangerous game there, and now look what happened again. Another season where you miss games. So yeah, you're right. I mean, having the right people. I think his mom's, his family was representing them. He really didn't have any.
Yeah, he doesn't have an
Yeah,
agent.
agent. Yeah, so
He's self
that's tough.
represented.
That's tough. And if they offered him that pretty much what he asked for, just he wanted all of his money guaranteed. I mean, it's really hard to come by in this league because of the. I mean, you're still getting paid a lot of money. It's way better than what they were doing a decade or two to these guys, where it's like practically no contracts were guaranteed. So we've come a long way. I don't know how much owners are going to budge with giving one player, especially with Lamar Jackson's history of getting injured. I don't know if owners are going to be like, yeah, let's give him all of this money and let's guarantee it all. That's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's why you gotta have the right people in your corner, man. Speaking of the right people in your corner, Takeoff. He had the wrong people in his corner at the wrong time, and that's why social media is going at Jay Prince Jr. hard. So now Jay Prince Sr. he is going on a media tour to clear his son's name. So basically, since Takeoff's death, every time Jay Prince Jr. posts anything on social media, he is flooded with negative comments of people attacking him, saying that he is responsible for Takeoff's murder. Now, the whole industry is big on this checking in thing. It's a whole thing that's big in the hip hop industry. You go to somewhere out of town, you want to check in with the locals, so that you are protected and that you know where to go and where not to go. So apparently, that this was on Halloween in Houston, and the Migos checked in with Jay Prince. This was Jay Prince party that they attended at the bowling alley, in which Takeoff was murdered at. So because of that, they said that basically the Migos checked in with Mob Ties. They were at a Mob Ties event, and Takeoff was murdered. Therefore, Takeoff died after checking in with you. Therefore, your check-in is invalid. And now, your street cred and everybody checking in with you and that protection and all of that, it no longer means anything. So what do you think about this whole like checking in thing and Takeoff's death and Jay Prince Jr.? Do you think that like checking in is something that's valid, especially now that people are dying after checking in? This is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
Um, it's tough. I mean, I'm not a street guy. Don't pretend to be. Um, but for the people who are in this life, if checking in is a thing, then it is a thing, and if they did that, they expected a level of protection. Now, I think it is ignorant to accuse Jay Prince Jr. of Takeoff's death because he's not the one that brought the gun and shot him. All right, that was clearly somebody else who I believe is not affiliated with Mob Ties. He was just there. But again, I understand, if again they checked in with him and they were expecting a level of protection, but ultimately they shouldn't be held accountable or at fault for Takeoff's death because Jay Prince Jr. or nobody affiliated with Mob Ties pulled the trigger on Takeoff. It is that responsibility of that man that pulled the trigger on Takeoff, not Mob Ties, not Jay Prince Jr., not Jay Prince, and not necessarily the city of Houston. It sucks, but rappers get killed in various cities. LA, Houston, in New York, Vegas. This happens everywhere in the industry. It's a hip hop industry issue where these young black men, these talented black men, are getting killed for no reason at all. Takeoff was killed for no reason at all. Senseless violence as it always has been. And that's what needs to stop. That needs to be more of the focus. Let's stop all this senseless violence, especially within the hip hop community. I understand that hip hop has a tendency to promote it, but still just, promoting something or talking about something still doesn't cause for that act to be placed upon you. I think that is a little bit unfair. But again, I can also understand for the people that's in the streets and again that deal with this life every day, checking in if that's the thing, and they expected a level of protection for Takeoff, and they didn't get that. Ultimately, I can understand why people are upset, but people still have to remember that again, they did not pull the trigger on Takeoff. That was another individual that we just showed here. He is responsible for his death, not mob ties, in my opinion. But like I said, I do understand for people in that life and dealing with that every day that is something serious and something to be taken seriously.
See, but the check-in comes with a payment. So
Mm.
so if what I'm paying for is protection and I don't receive what I'm paying for, then ultimately it just is extortion.
True. Very true.
And that's the problem, is that these younger generation was already opposed to checking in, and now that this happened, they're gonna be looking at everybody like, nah, we ain't
Right.
checking in shit. But what is that gonna do to the streets? Because now if checking in becomes a thing of the past, now the wolves is gonna be out. And the wolves, you know what I'm saying, especially after COVID, ain't no more PPP going on. You know what I'm saying? The wolves been out as of late. So what
Yeah.
do you think is gonna happen now that people they gonna be refusing to check in? They're gonna be talking shit. You got people like Chris Brown and Soldier Boy gang banging because of this type of form of extortion, to the point where they pay so many reoccurring fees that they just become part of the game.
Mm.
It's easier and cheaper that way.
Yeah, I mean, well, any public figure should watch how they're moving regardless. Um, like not posting shit up on social media, like how unfortunately PNB Rock, with his situation with his girl posting that shit on social. Like people need to watch how they move, especially if you're not from that city to begin with. I don't understand why that's not um just common sense that hey, I'm from Baltimore, Jersey, DMV. I'm going all the way to LA. Like, yeah, of course, I'm a, link up with y'all and check in with y'all and see what's happening with politicking, of course. But I'm gonna still also watch how I'm moving in LA, regardless of if I'm checking it or not, or who I know. Any city I go visit, if you're on vacation, right, you research the city. Hey, what's the most dangerous cities, or what's happening in this city that I'm about to go to, right, or I'm about to travel to. I think we research and do that in general. So the fact that you are a public figure with a bank account, with a following, you are a brand. You should be watching how you're moving, regardless of checking in, or what city that what city again, especially if you're not from that city. I just think that's just common sense that more people, more public figures need to start demonstrating, especially hip hop cats. Why you gotta watch and know where look, why am I in a different city and I got 50 million chains on? Like I'm just opening myself up to potentially be a target, regardless if I check, like even if I check in, why would I still have to just because I feel protected? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I should still have common knowledge to be like, no, let me just, I'm in a different city. Let me just be cool, do what I need to do my business, and get back to where I'm from, where I laid my head. So, that should be common knowledge anyway, just to protect yourself.
Yeah, I agree, man. But
Yeah, but they don't. Well, people don't. I get it. I get it.
ever since this Tekashi 6ix9ine situation, when he was opposed to checking in, and he was everywhere, and it's crazy because when he was talking about not checking in, he got into a fight with the mob ties at the LAX, and that was all over TMZ. So that shit right there is crazy because checking in, man, they put so much emphasis on it. But if you guys aren't gonna really like provide us with any type of protection or any type of security, then it makes no sense for us to check in. Like,
Right.
if we're gonna check in, then the check in has to be valid, because these OGs they don't have the streets no more. These youngsters, they don't respect these OGs.
True.
So checking in is invalid to a dude that no longer has the streets. And a lot of times they checking in with the wrong niggas, or and these young niggas, they getting money different, so they ain't worried about like extorting people. That's
Right.
the old nigga game, and
True.
checking in pretty much is gonna be a thing of the past. So I hope you youngsters learn how to move correctly because the game don't change. You know what I'm saying? So the
Fact.
game's gonna be good to some and bad to others. So play it accordingly. Well, let's get to this politics, man. So politics is going crazy, man. This is ridiculous. America is ridiculous. Like, I don't know if you guys pay attention to politics out there, man, but America, we just almost went through a shutdown. Then they couldn't pick a House representative. And now we got Joe Biden. His aides find classified documents from his vice presidency at a second location. So, in the second time in a week, they have found classified documents. Now, you remember they raided Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate and found classified documents, but that was after a full FBI search. They just stumbled upon these documents. So, imagine if they did a full FBI search of Biden's locations and properties, how many classified documents they will find. But at the same time, they're underplaying and undercutting it, saying, "No, we found these and we willingly gave them up and reported them to the committee." That's because the people that found them, didn't care about Biden and was more worried about their own personal well-being. If it was up to Biden, he would have hid that shit. But his aides found it and they turned it in. And now they're trying to, compare what Biden did to what Trump did. And they're trying to basically be like, oh, well, there's a difference, but it's the same crime. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, most of these politicians, if not all of them, are shysters anyway, right? If we rated all of their homes, their vacation homes, the offices they used to rent out, used to lease out, basements, we probably find a whole bunch of different classified documents out there, especially after they raided the Capitol last year. They didn't raid for nothing. They went in there to get classified documents. That's what Trump sent them in there for. But to compare, with Biden and Trump, I mean, listen, again, both are shysters in their own way. Trump, I think, is just a little bit more blunt about it and just doesn't care. But Biden is also undercover with how he has handled things, and he hasn't always, he doesn't have the squeaky clean resume. But with Trump, a lot of people in politics hate him right now, so of course they're gonna go at him. And Biden, people are going at him just because, like I said, they felt like he hasn't done enough, and this is just another way to attack him, just like they did with his son. But this is the game, right? This is what they do. Election time is coming up. They got to start digging up stuff. They got to start finding stuff to give people doubt, give people a story. Honestly, I really don't think it's going to turn out to be much because, again, I think there's a whole bunch of top secret, sealed classified, confidential classified documents out there with all these politicians or people who used to work for the government or currently work for the government. So I don't give it too much weight. But again, this is what they do. They're again, it's election time. They're gearing it up. Republicans are putting out stories about Democrats. Democrats are putting out stories about Republicans. This is just the politics game. This is, like I said, this is what they do. So not surprised. And it'll probably blow over.
It's just every time this type of stuff happens, it's just the mainstream media for me because we already in the last election we already seen that Facebook and Twitter were manipulating information on behalf of the Democratic Party.
Right.
And then as soon as you get in the presidency, you weaponize the FBI to go in and do this seizure at Trump's estate to find these classified documents so that you can find the smoking gun that you can use to try to get him to not be eligible to run for the 2024 election. But at the same time, you send the FBI to find the smoking gun for something that you're guilty of yourself, and that you didn't even hide it well enough to the point that your aides went into an old office and stumbled upon this.
Right.
They wasn't even looking. The fact that somebody could just accidentally find this lets you know that, like, you have no coof, you have no tact, and you know what I'm saying? You're doing a very horrible job of, like, hiding who you are. Like, Joe Biden is killing me. And the other day he called Kamala President Harris, so he doesn't even know his own position. There was an interview where I watched with Michelle Obama, and she was asked if she's going to endorse Biden for 2024, and she said, "We'll see."
Right.
So, Michelle Obama won't even endorse him. When it came to the first election, Obama told Biden not to run. So if the Bidens are basically staying clear of this, and then I don't know why we're still putting our faith in Joe. If Joe runs for another 4 years, I'll be surprised. I really believe that they put Kamala there the whole time so that they can put her in the vice presidency, and they can run her 2024 as the first female president and female black president. And they setting that up for them to be their big splash so that they can get this presidency. And then guess what? Because she's a vice president, she can run for another 8 years. So what they plan to do, that's what I think they plan to do, is to run Kamala for, presidency, and then keep her for the next 8 years until they can figure out the next play for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, if that's their play, that's a epic failure. And there's no disrespect to her being a woman, her being a black woman. She just wouldn't be a top candidate in my opinion. I mean, she has uttered 5 words since taking the role as vice president, and there has been issues. There have been black issues. She's also Asian as well. There have been Asian American issues. There have been a lot of women rights issues where we have not heard her speak or utter 2 words about any of these issues, whether it's black people still dying at the hands of the police, whether it's women, and with the Roe versus Wade and abortion rights. She hasn't spoken up a lot. Texas is, out of their mind with the laws and the things that they're trying to implement in schools and with education. And she, tends to be a, proponent with, kids and making sure kids are doing the right thing. Hasn't said anything about that. So, if their plan is to put her as the candidate for the presidency, especially against Donald Trump, good luck with that. And I'm not rooting for Donald Trump by any means, but the Democratic Party, you have to put up a better candidate than Kamala Harris. The people will not follow her. I can tell you that right now. It just wouldn't happen. I'm not disagreeing with you saying that they're not going to do that. I'm just saying, if that's the plan, good luck. I think Trump would win by a landslide. We forget that.
Last time they blamed the election, that they said that Biden won because he got us think about 98% of the black female vote, and that was because Kamala was his vice presidency.
Yeah, she
so
definitely
he got almost 100% of the black female vote because her being being her the vice president. So they're banking that if that got Biden into presidency, then why wouldn't that get her into presidency?
Because you would still, still white men and white women, especially older white men and older white women, still voted for Joe Biden. Yes, Kamala being on the ballot helped, especially getting the black and black women's vote, even the young vote as well. She draws a younger crowd of she draws that younger crowd similar to how Obama did as well. But no, there still had to be, especially like I said, older white men and women that voted for Joe Biden. That make up again. We still have to remember white people still make up 60% of this country. So you need the white vote, and so again, that's why they had Joe Biden and then they had Kamala. They combined the two forces. Who would she be running with to secure that white vote, especially that old white vote? Because a lot of old white people may decide to side with Donald Trump. He is, he relates to that type of crowd. So that's going to be tricky. I don't know. You need both. Again, white people still are the majority in the country.
Now, when you say that, when I was watching that Michelle Obama interview, I was thinking that same exact thing. Now I was thinking like Michelle doesn't have enough, experience to just run strictly for presidency. But if they run Kamala there and they run Michelle as a vice presidency, then they can turn around and run her for president right after Kamala. I don't know. You know how this politics work, man. They thinking 3 steps ahead. So you gotta think along the lines of what they doing. But I really think that whatever is gonna happen, Michelle Obama is gonna have her hand in this next election. If she doesn't have her hat in it, if they run Michelle Obama with Kamala as her vice president, then what's your thoughts on that?
Again, you still have to speak to the white people in this country. I'm not saying we, run, get a white VP, but that's kind of, again, with the landscape of the country. If this was flipped and this was a 60% minority country and white people made up 11 or 12%, that's a different story. But again, white people still make up the majority of this country. The Republican Party has still been getting the majority of the southern and like central west, that mountain west range, those votes, from Montana on down to like Arizona, and then from Arizona all the way over to Georgia. It's pretty much still red. The blue states are the states where, of course, the majority of the people live, the most populated cities, Cali, New York, Illinois, etc. You still have to speak to that demographic, that L in between of America, where the majority of the white people are. And I'm not saying that all of those white people, that are conservative couldn't be switched to being liberal per se, but can a black woman do that?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Yeah, she can't flip. I don't believe that either one of them can flip any of those red states blue.
You'll have to. They'll have to flip one or two of those red states in order to get that. White people are just going to vote for Donald Trump simply because the man is white. White liberals probably not, especially white liberal women, because the man is just a sexist and a predator. But you still have to try to get that vote, and that's what Biden and Kamala did together, getting white people and black people of various demographics to come together and vote. Kamala and Michelle Obama, that would be difficult. They would get a lot of white women, a lot of liberal white women, but liberal white men, conservative white men to flip, that's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's all a game, man. I don't know. I just
it definitely is.
I look at the Republican side of things, though, and you got Trump. announcing his nomination like super duper ultra early. So we don't have an official nomination from anybody but Donald Trump. And that's because he wants the whole Republican Party to rally behind him,
Right.
but they're not. They
Yep.
refuse to, and they're not going to rally around him this time like they did last time. So he wants to, state his nomination early to try to force the Republican Party's hand. But we just seen in all the primaries and all the seats, every candidate that you endorsed lost. And Herschel Walker was your last horse in the race, and he lost.
Yeah.
Camera.
Amrock, keep going.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good. My bad. I was like, what's
with that shit is wild, man.
I thought he was about to jump on the go.
Yeah, but that shit was wild, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just this whole political party thing, man. Like this two-party system with the independents on the like it's a two-party system, but then we have registered independents on the ballot. Also, an independent has never won unless we're talking about Dick Gregory, because a lot of people don't know that Dick Gregory won the presidency and they have to go and recount and then took the presidency back from him. Dick Gregory, yes, was on the ballot. If you're not familiar with Dick Gregory, he's one of my favorite people to listen to, especially when I'm just like chilling. Dick Gregory, man, turn on some Dick Gregory. It's like comedy, but he teach you a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. This Mike Pence, he might throw his hat in. He was the vice president.
That guy.
They keep trying to impeach Trump, and Trump ain't even in presidency. Look at all these red states and these blue states.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
whole middle of the country is red.
Your best chances are like Ohio and Florida. Those states have been blue before. I think Obama got those states. Surprisingly, blue is Arizona now. But yeah, I mean, you would have to. That's tough, and that's majority of where white conservatives are at. You have to flip at least two of those states to win the presidency. That would be tough for two black women in this country. Unfortunately, it sucks to say, but that would be tough. That's just the reality.
Well, we supposedly got Kanye West coming for 2024.
Lord.
He had disappeared for 4 weeks, but they're reporting that Kanye has been found. So Kanye is no longer disappeared. Kanye is alive and he is well. So let's still see if he got his he's gonna throw his name in the hat for this 2024 election. But right now, as we can see, it is already a shit show, man. And it's like, I don't want to vote for none of these motherfuckers, man.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
We have to vote for somebody. Somebody's gonna get it. But it's like I don't want to vote for none of these people. It's ridiculous. Yeah. All right, but let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying rest in peace to my father, to my pops. He passed away on Sunday, so rest in peace to him. And with black men, when black men grow up, we grow up with either our fathers in our lives or just not in our lives. And it was a mix for me. Growing up, he was there at times, but not there the majority of the time, but there at some critical times where I needed some help. And so I appreciate that and always will. And I just hope that he's resting in peace. And shout out to PolitiKan as always, man. Appreciate you guys, man, for just having this platform, having me on this platform. Greatly appreciate it. Shout out to the DMV in Baltimore, man. And just everybody just stay safe out there. They talking about a new COVID variant. So just be safe out there, people. We might have to start masking up again. They ain't gonna do no more shutdowns. So we gotta start masking up again and just please people, just protect yourselves, wash your hands, just watch how you moving out here, for real. But shout out to PolitiKan,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My condolences to you, brother.
Appreciate it,
You
man.
know, I'm going through something right now with my father myself. He had a brain tumor
Oh
and he
man.
got it removed. But ever since he got it removed, this is a slow process, and
Mm-hmm.
he basically will never be the same. And right now he's having like a onset, like a type of dementia,
Mm.
and it's hard to, like he's still alive, so I'm blessed to still have my father here.
Yeah,
But also,
prayers to you and your family too, man. Definitely.
but also, know and understand that, my father will never be who he used to be, and we'll never get to kick it like how we used to kick it.
All right.
It's definitely a hard pill to swallow, man. So my condolences, man. Shout out to you, man. Black Risk Creators. Shout out to, brand of encouragement. Focus on the future, HNS 420, all the boys that didn't make it today, but we're gonna get to it, man, because I don't know what you're gonna do with your life, man, but I'm gonna get to it, man. Kanye 2024 for president. I'm gonna get me some of that merch, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna give me some of that what was it? It was that Gap merch, it was that Adidas merch, it
Adidas
was
merch.
that Balenciaga merch, He said he's just gonna take all the old stuff and put 2024 on it and sell it as his campaign merch. So
Yeah.
just grab you some of that Yeezy campaign merch, Yeezy for President 2024, and PolitiKan the podcast, man. We out.
Yo.
Stop me! You're gonna have to fucking kill me! Smoking Dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in the tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red car.